Hey gang, this is my final presentation for CS341. I'll be talking about R programming language. Fortunately, I'll now be able to talk about every single feature that R supports due to the time limit of this presentation, and nevertheless, I'm not considering myself an R expert. I'm just a student that did some research for a few hours, and I want to share with you some cool features of R. But before I show you what features and how are they actually done, let's take a step back and let's see some historic details about this language. It was created by two New Zealand students named Rossi Haka and Robert Gentleman, and is the result of one of their academic projects started in 1992. An initial version of this language appeared in 1995, 3 years later. The final presentation that nowadays we are able to run it was released 5 years later in the year 2000. Today, the group that offers assistance with this language is called the R Development Core Team, where one of its founders, Robert Gentleman, is an active member. Lastly, the R programming language is considered to be an update for the old-fashioned and unfriendly scripting language called S. Why was R actually created? I guess the answer is kind of obvious. We know that how painful it is to manipulate data from a file or from some sort of databases in the more traditional languages. How many lines of code should we write to parse a CSV file? And this is the same in every single programming language that is common nowadays. C++, Java, Python, I guess, as well. The absence of an actual friendly environment that does statistics problems. Usually statistic problems are done in fields that are not so open for computer science workers, kind of like in finance, in the banking, with a banking account. So yeah. Anyway, what kind of languages are though? First of all, R, no doubt it's a multi-paradigm language. Supports classes, so can be called object-oriented. Also, has predefined functions that does a lot of amazing stuff. So we can call it functional. As well, we can call it imperative because after we run we can run our program like line by line, and after each run, a new output is gonna appear in our console. Lastly, the language is procedural because it has this console. As I said before, fields that is most commonly used are finance, marketing, and retail, but honestly, at a small part, it's used basically in almost every single field. Well, now, things I can do with R. I found interesting these three topics since I took a statistics class, and I know how much time takes to take all that data manually and draw all the histograms, charts, or the box plot. I found really cool that this language supports and gives a solution with this thing. Okay, so I just wrote here some code. First of all, yeah, so as you can see, this code does everything what I talked before. First of all these three lines are taking our old friend, the movie.csv file, which I have it here. It's from an early project that we had in this class, and it only has like 250 movies, I guess, across one of their movie ID and a year that they were published. So to parse this file, we all remember how that C++ was not that friendly for what we need to do. So yeah, just call this function read.csv. Its parameter is the first parameter is the file itself. The second parameter is true, which means that it has the data doesn't start on the first row, and the third one is the comma, the thing that separates our data. So if I press run, I just can have here. Okay, so as you can see, every single movie has a number, an index, I should say, a movie ID, the movie name, the publish year. Well, let's say I don't need to see every single movie. I just want the top of the file and the end. So let me clear. Let me just run. Okay, run head of the movies, the variable movies that I just declared. Okay, let's see. After I run movies, it gives me the first 6 elements. I mean the first 6 movies: 12 Angry Men, The Space of Odyssey, and also the last one. Now that I parse this data, what cool things I can do with them? The thing I can do some histograms. Kind of here. And remember, this is just one line of code. You can see, okay, so in the 20s appeared kind of like 5 movies about. In the 30s about 10. We can, well, in most of the movies that are in our file appeared sometimes under the year of 2000, which is a little more than 50. Yeah, pretty cool. Okay, what else can I do? I can draw a plot. I mean, yeah, I know this is most likely for every single movie. Kind of like, I know it's kind of disordered, but yeah. So I can see that about the movie with the code 125 appeared in close to the year of 1940. And what else? I mean, movie like 20 appeared in 2005 or 2010. So yeah. And lastly, I can do a box plot. Okay. So yeah. We know that, well, the oldest movie is sometimes in 1920. You can see, and the last one, I think it's sometimes in 2016, I guess, if I remember exactly, is the Pirates of the Caribbean. The bold line represents the median based on the year that the movie was published. This second point represents the first quartile, this one the third quartile. Well, if you took a statistics class, you should know better about these concepts. Okay, so let's summarize. R is a relatively new programming language, often used to solve statistic problems. It's a script language, but also supports object-oriented, functional, and deterministic. Data is extremely easy to manipulate, as you saw it. And lastly, the syntax is not so hard to understand. Thanks for watching.